like we just started doing this new thing where we will do like whatever day of the month that is their birthday, that's like their day. So like what is today, the 6th, so tomorrow will be my daughter who was born on the 7th, it's her day. So I learned that from this friend of mine at church, and it's just been a really fun way of giving attention to so many different people. So at least one time a month, it's like they get to look forward to that.
Hi guys, and thank you for listening to the Bad and Bougie Moms podcast show. My name is Britt. I am the creator and host of the show, and on today's episode, we have Kristel David. So Kristel is the wife of retired NFL vet and Super Bowl champ Jason David, and a mama to 4 queens and 1 on the way. She is currently a working stay-at-home mom running her 2 businesses. She is the owner and creator of Wife Complex, in which she inspires women to discover their inner thoughts, unique God-given talents, and to never lose themselves to becoming a wife, mama, and or career woman. She is also a marketing director for Juice Plus, a health and wellness company. Kristel graduated from Purdue University with a major in organizational leadership and supervision and a minor in African American studies. She is a philanthropist through her roles as an Alpha Kappa Alpha woman, vice president of her husband's foundation, Jason's David Corner Foundation, as well as serving on the Abundant Business Leaders Ministry at her church. Kristel believes in doing things that feed your soul as a woman, so outside of all the above, she keeps up with her interests and priorities that she enjoys. She loves going to church, riding her bike, traveling, listening to self-development audios and attending seminars, hosting events for family and friends, and of course eating good food. I mean, who doesn't? So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Please make sure you subscribe and also like on any of the platforms you listen to us to. And happy 4th. Hi, this is Britt with the BBM podcast. On today's episode, I have Miss Kristel. Hi, Kristel. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good. So, Kristel, tell us, we want to get to know about you. So, give us your background. Where are you from? Do you have any sisters and brothers? What's your favorite color? We want to know all about you.
Okay. So I'm from Southern California, born and raised, and I've lived a couple other cities, Louisiana, Indiana, and came back home. You asked about brothers and sisters. I actually have 9 sisters and 1 brother.
Wow.
So a lot of people always joke and tell me, no wonder I have all these girls, but I'm like, no, the female does not determine the sex of your baby.
Exactly.
So my fault. Let's see. But yeah, I'm a mom, 4 daughters and 1 daughter on the way. I'm due in July, so almost there. Okay. And I've been married to my husband for 8, going on 9 years, and we've been together for about 13, 14 years, so it's been a long time. And I'm just entrepreneur, stay-at-home mom, and just love life. So, I mean, I'm sure there's lots that we're going to talk about, so I don't know, anything else?
Yes, no, that was awesome. So tell us about, you say you have 4 children, 1 on the way. What's the age range of your children?
Yeah, so I have, my oldest is 10, and I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and then, like I said, I'm due in July. So
wow, all girls.
All girls.
So how is that? Tell me more about that. I only have 1 girl. I have, it's 5 of us all together because I have a blended family. So it's 13, 10, 8, 7, and then 7 months. Right. Super started over, but we only have 2 girls between all of us. And I tell people, because I only grew up in a household full of women. It was just my mom and my sister. So it was so easy for me to kind of parent a girl. But when the boys came, I'm like, what do I do with them? Like, how do I dress them? What type of shoes they put on? Like, I had the hardest time. So how is it for you growing up around girls? How was it for you starting to parent your daughters?
Yeah, so growing up, it was actually just my brother and sister and I and my mom. So all those kids are from my dad, just,
Gotcha.
doing what he does. So I did grow up a little bit with my older sisters, but it wasn't like 9, 10 girls in the house at one time. We never lived like that. But, I started with a girl and I'm here on my 5th one. So it's kind of just all I've known. I really, really want a boy. But I will say that when look, like you said, like when the boys got in the mix, I do look like I don't even know if I would know what to do with the boy. Like,
right.
That's all I know really is raising girls. So it's interesting because my husband is always telling me, like, that's your job. Like, now that we have a 10-year-old, she's going in 6th grade. So there's boy talk and puberty and all these things happening. He's putting all that pressure on me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I don't even know, like now I'm like, there's no manual to this. So I think just like any sex of your child, it's just parenting in general is an unknown territory until you just through it and you kind of just figure it out and you learn from the people around you. And I'm sure if I had all boys, I'd be adapting to that, So right. I mean, there's lots of hair situations, so we stay in braids and
okay.
And a lot of hand-me-down clothes. I'm teaching my middle 2 right now that until you guys are a little bit older, if it fits you, it's yours. Because they do a lot of fighting about, that's my shirt, that's my dress. I'm like, no, this actually used to be your sister's and your other sister. So if it fits you, then it's yours, and that's what you're going to wear. But I understand, once they get a little bit older, they start, being more territorial over their stuff. So I know eventually they're going to have their own things. But I'm like, as of right now, as a 4-year-old and 6-year-old, no.
All right.
So lots of drama around the clothes and the hair and all that good stuff. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I could believe it's fun. I can only imagine it because I'm girly girl. So with the hair and the clothes, I'm like, y'all, come on, just bring it. I love painting nails, like everything. So I can only imagine how the household is.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because those are like, we just started doing this new thing where we will do like whatever day of the month that it's their birthday, that's like their day. So like what's today, the 6th, so tomorrow will be my daughter who was born on the 7th, it's her day. So I learned that from this friend of mine at church, and it's just been a really fun way of giving attention to so many different people. So at least one time a month, it's like they get to look forward to that. And it's interesting because we've been doing our nails on that day, but it's like aside from that, I have to like force myself to paint nails. Like they want to ask at the most inopportune times, like before bed or before it's time to eat or take a bath. And I'm like, no. So a lot of the girly girl stuff that's fun with one little girl, like with my first, I did all the did her hair every day and got her dressed every day. But now having 4 of them, it's more of a just throw something on and let's get out the house. Like we don't have the fun dress up time as much as we used to, but yeah.
No, I completely understand because I'm that way with my daughter now because she's so much like me. It's just like, look, throw on some shorts and a shirt and put your hair in a ponytail and let's go. And that's it, because I try to get her to wearing the earrings and have little necks because that's the things they're kind of into, like the Claire's Boutique type situation. And she's like, I'm good. Like she'll throw on earrings if she has an award show, but that's pretty much it. It's yeah, that's so fun. All right, so tell us about your pregnancy stories with your children. So the oldest one, how old were you? Were you in college? Were you a young mother? Like everything.
Yeah, I was. I was 20 when I got pregnant, and I had her at 21. So I remember on my 21st birthday, my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, but my husband took me out to a bar and I ordered a beer and I told the waitress, I'm like, I know I'm 9 months pregnant, but I'm just ordering because I can. I'm not going to drink it. So it was just to do it just because I could legally do it. So, it was an interesting time. I will never forget my roommate at the time was the one who made me sit down on the couch and call my mom because I went to college out of state. So I wasn't home, so I really could have probably hid most of my pregnancy because no one would have seen me. We didn't have Instagram and all that back then. So, and I think Facebook at the time was only for college students. It wasn't open yet to like parents and grandparents and all that. So anyways, yeah, I had her early. It was a huge shocker and a huge like, wait a minute, this is not how I planned my life. But we rolled with it, and I actually did a semester with a full pregnant belly. I remembered giving presentations with being pregnant, walking campus, riding the bus, being pregnant. And then I had her in the summertime, and then I did my first semester online, and then I moved back to campus and finished my second semester and then graduated. So I was fortunate to be able to continue and just stay on course. And so I did that, and then we waited till we got married, and then we were trying. It was like the first time we've ever said like we're trying, you know. Right. And the last time, because my last 3 pregnancies after that, or 4, I don't know, yeah, 3 pregnancies after that, we weren't trying. We just accidentally got pregnant. So yeah, we got married, and then 4 years later we had our second, and so I was 20, I guess. I don't know, 25,
yeah.
Somewhere around there, and then boom, boom, boom. Every 2 years I've gotten pregnant since then. So I thought I would be done in my 30s. When I had my 4th one, I had her, and then I turned 30 right after, and thought she would be my boy and I would be done. Not to say that we had a 5th because it wasn't a boy. We really were not planning this 5th pregnancy, but I just thought, you know, once I had another girl, I'm like, okay, there's a chance I might have another baby, because we really do want to try for a boy. Right. I just didn't plan for it to happen yet. So anyways, that's where we're at. I'm almost 32 now, so I was pregnant all of my 20s. And that was an interesting thing. So that's definitely why I'm kind of like, I want to be done in my 30s, because I gave up all of my 30s.
Right. So can you tell a difference being pregnant now in your 30s versus being in your 20s? Because, for instance, my daughter, on one side, we were pretty much almost the same age, because I turned 32 in August, and I had my daughter on my 21st birthday as well. So I know the whole thing about not being able to drink. You're legal now, and it's like, oh, no, I'm stuck in the hospital giving birth. So have you been able to tell a difference as far as being pregnant now versus younger?
Yeah, you know, I've been really, really blessed with easy pregnancies. Good. So from the first one to this 5th one, I haven't had complications. I have, like, my last 3 pregnancies, I've had more things that are not as visible to people. Like, I have really bad varicose veins. I'm able to hide it, but it's pretty painful and it's uncomfortable. But aside from that, I mean, my pregnancies have been so easy breezy, thank God, that I don't have a huge comparison difference based on my age. Okay. But what's interesting is, you know, when I was 20 pregnant with my first, I was very OCD and anal. It was my first baby. I was young, so I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do everything right. And I remember just being very, like, I remember I had this little book that it was like a dictionary. So it was like you could put like soda, and then you would go to the S's and look up soda, and it would have like a avoid, like take in moderation, or it's safe. Okay. And so soda would probably be, I don't know where soda fell. I didn't drink soda, but like, anyways, it was just like literally like tap water. So I would go to restaurants and be like, I can only drink bottled water. Now I drink whatever water's handed to me. You know what I mean? Right. So I would say that's been the only difference, is that my first pregnancy, I was just very like by the book. And then with my other ones, I was more of like, okay, like pregnancy is pregnancy. You know, it flows more. I'm not so like book smart with this pregnancy. So right. I guess that would be my biggest difference.
Were you like that with the kids too? I know with my first pregnancy, it was like, okay, she has to have mittens, she has to have this, I can't use that type of lotion, I have to have this type of detergent. And now with the other ones, I'm like, look, everything's getting thrown in the wash. If you're allergic, we'll find out. If not, you're good.
Right. Yeah. See, I think it seems like it's a pretty, I mean, you've seen that commercial probably. I don't know what it's for, what brand it's for, but it's just so funny. It's like they show the mom and the dad with the first baby and they're being all careful, and then they show the second baby and it's just like, then by the third or whatever, it's like they just throwing the baby, you know, like, let's just say it's bath time. It's like you're being all gentle and you have all the toys and the setup. And then I think it's like by the third baby, they're showering with you. And like, you know, so it's just funny. I think that's a natural progression of parenthood where once you do it that first time, you kind of realize, okay, like, I'm in control here. Like, this is going to flow. It's going to work out. Like you said, we're going to throw all the laundry in. Like, I only now separate my baby girl's clothes because she does have allergies, but all the rest of our clothes, I wash them together. Like, you know, things like that. So, yeah, I think it's just a progression for sure of just realizing that it's okay. Like, they're going to survive.
Got you. All right, so you mentioned that you are a stay-at-home working mom. How important was it for you to be able to stay at home with your girls?
It's interesting because when I had my first daughter, we not only did I stay at home, but I lived out of state, and so I didn't have friends, I didn't have family, so I literally would just sit in the house and go stir crazy, like watching TV. I watched every reality thing. Like I said, social media wasn't a thing back then, so I probably would have been on Instagram all day, but I didn't really have a life. Like, I was just sitting there waiting for my husband to come home from work, and I would drive around, I would go to the mall, I would shop. It was just like I had no purpose, pretty much, I felt like. And so I used to start complaining to my husband, like, I need a job. Like, I want to work. I want to do something. Like, I didn't just go to school and get a degree to just sit at home. And so for me, I really struggled with being, quote unquote, just a stay at home mom. Now, in hindsight, it's interesting because I could have been doing all kinds of like mommy and me stuff and play date stuff and all this stuff. But I guess because I didn't know anybody, all of my friends were in college still, so like no one was mentoring me saying, oh, this is what moms do when they're home with their kids. I guess I just didn't know what to do with myself. And so he would always tell me, be careful what you wish for, because there's plenty of moms who have to go to work and they don't want to and they wish they were home, and then you're home and you're like saying you need to go get a job. And so that was when I had a crossroads moment, and I decided that I wanted to start my own business because I wanted to be able to have some type of job or focus outside of just watching TV and being a mom, but I wanted to still be able to have that freedom of staying home. So, you know, I've been fortunate, and I know that it's a blessing to have been able to do that, and I just pray, like, to be able to continue to stay that way.
Right. Yeah, and I understand completely. I actually, with my last pregnancy, well, with my first two pregnancies, I wasn't able to stay at home. I did have to work, but for my last pregnancy, we were blessed enough that I was able to stay home. And I tell people, you know, they say, oh, you could stay home, you could do this, you could do that, and I'm like, yeah, but just like you know, I have this degree. I was at a crossroad as well, and was like, I felt like worthless, to be honest. It's like, you know, you're at home, you do your wifely duties, but I felt like that's what you're supposed to do anyway. So for that just to be my main, you know, concern and stuff, I felt kind of guilty, to be honest. So it took me a while to you know, kind of figure things out and be able to balance my businesses versus, you know, being able to take care of my son. So, you know, it's just, again, I've been working since I was 18, so that's all I knew. So when I had this opportunity, I was like, I really don't like it, I'd rather work. And they're like, no, just take time off. So yeah. Understandable. So talking about your businesses, tell us more about the Wife Complex.
Yeah, so Wife Complex was actually born out of my desire. I have a health and wellness business, and I was, you know, 3-4 years into that, and what I was finding was that my passion was to tell people, especially women, that our health is so important. Like, let's not wait until we're 50, 60 and being diagnosed, or nowadays it's even earlier, 30, 40, but being diagnosed with these diseases when we could have been preventing them through our diet and our lifestyle. So this was like the message that I was like crying out to people. And what I found was that because I was a stay-at-home mom, I was doing a lot of this storytelling online, and I was seeing a lot of good branding and marketing pages. And so I reached out to a branding and marketing girl, and I asked her for help in in spreading this message with a visual appeal. So like helping me take my message but turn it into something attractive online. And so the way that she operates with her business is she sends you this questionnaire and asks you like a bunch of questions about what problem are you solving in the world, and who is your audience, and what are you trying to say, and how are you helping them, and all these different questions. And when I got back, her synopsis of all my answers, she's like, you have your own brand that you're speaking. She's like, health is a thing that's at the core of everybody. Like everybody needs their health, but you're saying so much more. Like you want to help women have it all. You want them to have this purpose and this passion. And so really Wife Complex is a space for women for the women who want it all, for the women who are aspiring to have some type of business, whether it's a career or a business, and who want to be amazing wives and want to be hands-on present mothers and are trying to navigate, how do I balance all of this stuff? And so because of me having so many kids and being with my husband and running my businesses, and people are always looking into my life and saying, how are you doing it? It just kind of became a ministry that I started serving through Wife Complex, of just offering up tools and tips and advice on how women can do it. So like today, I actually just finished our 6 week of, I have a course called the Fox Project. And the Fox Project is all about, entering one way and coming out as an empowered woman, feeling like you are sexy, you are keeping yourself up physically, but you're also empowered to be the best wife and mother and businesswoman that you can possibly be. So it's just 6 weeks of learning different systems and tools and tips on how to navigate everyday life and manage. I like to teach women how to control their calendar and not let their calendar control them.
Yes.
And so things like that. But that's pretty much what Wife Complex is. And online, it's a community, and just, I'm just working on growing it to reach women who are like-minded and want everything that they can get out of life.
Yes, you definitely speaking my language. I would definitely be adding you onto my stuff. So speaking about balance, how do you balance being a wife, a mother, and your career at this point?
Well, I always say that I don't really believe in balance. So, for example, I just shared this on my Instagram the other day. It was a story of my house and just how messy my house was. I was just giving people an example. So on top of how messy my house was last week, yesterday, for example, and even right now, like, before we got on the call, my husband was texting me like, do we have food at home? And, I know when I pick up my kids, they're going to be hungry, and I haven't been to the grocery store this week. So it's like, I don't believe in balance, but in the same time that my house has been messy and I don't have food at home, I have been like rocking in my businesses. I've been showing up I've been packing my calendar. I've been making lots of connections. I've been taking on lots of opportunities. I've been engaging in a lot of learning and mentoring. And so for me, balance and the how-to is, it comes down to priority and communication. And so for me, my priorities are my faith, my family, and my business. So if something that gets brought to my calendar doesn't fall within those three categories, I don't give it as much precedence. It's like, if I make it, I make it. I'll write it in my calendar, but if I don't make it, it's going to be the first thing to go. But, then I have non-negotiables. Like every Wednesday we have Bible study, and we usually go to church on Saturdays instead of Sunday because we have soccer. And, I teach my daughter, like, on Wednesday, she has practice on Wednesday, so she gets out of practice pretty much at the same time that church starts. So we're teaching her, no, you're leaving practice 30 minutes early because God is more important than your sport. Like, you just have to prioritize. That's how life goes. And I think so often in life, it's easy for us to be like, oh, I haven't been to church in 10 years because I work and I have this and I have that. And I just feel like, now, obviously everybody listening to this may not be a church going God Christian believer, but whatever it is that your higher power is, or whatever it is that your soul is connected to, like, you have to create boundaries and non-negotiables. And so that's pretty much how I do it. It's like I communicate to my husband, like, okay, look, June, we have a baby coming in July. I'm going to be going into like nesting mode where I'm just pretty much home with a squishy little newborn. So June, I'm going hard. Like, I'm about to go out with a bang, and I have a lot of business goals that I'm trying to reach. So I'm going to be less hands-on. Like, you know, I was at soccer practice on my phone yesterday and I was working, but I was there. Or, you know, we had to run to Trader Joe's and buy like a already made meal for dinner because I didn't like prepare something. But like, my life isn't always like that. There's plenty of times where I'm in the kitchen and I've got a 4-course meal or whatever, you know, or where I'm at soccer and I have my phone in the car. So it's all about balance. To me means prioritizing and understanding that there's seasons in your life, and communicating those seasons to everybody around you. So my kids know, like, even my 2-year-old, mommy call. Yeah, mommy has a call. Like, I teach my kids, I teach them that this is my world and they live in it. It's not their world. Like, and that's how I operate, because I feel like I'm the adult. You know, I have to show them the way. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I can't do that because my child won't let me. No, my child's going to learn to cooperate with the life that I am creating for myself. So that's pretty much kind of, I guess, my biggest, how I do it is just about boundaries and prioritizing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Because you, like I said, I see we have so much in common, because I'm the same way. Like with the podcast, my daughter, since it's the summertime, my daughter, the 10-year-old is here. Plus, you know, I have the 7-month-old. So I'm like, look, I have a podcast between this time and this time. I just need for you to feed him first. Y'all watch TV, go over his flashcards, something, but do not come in my room. I'm like, unless something really terrible happens. And she's like, you know, okay. And it's funny because when you start incorporating them into your business, or they see, you know, what mommy is doing, it makes them more interested. Like, hey, you know, like, how did your podcast go? Or who did you speak with this time? And it's just fun because they're growing, you know, they're watching you. So it's just funny how that all pans out, because I know, you know, back in the day with us growing up, it's like, okay, adults do what adults do, kids stay in their own place. You know, it just, the reason, you know, not explaining them why I can't do something. You know, it's like, okay, I can't paint your nails right now because I'm doing this, and letting them know, hey, you know, you can't tell me what to do, pretty much.
Right. So, no, I love that. And you know, one of the things that I really stand for in my brand messaging is like, it's speaking to women to let them know, like, this may be offensive to moms, but it's like, if you drop everything for your kid, you're hurting not only yourself, but you're hurting your child, because like you just said, like, your daughter is now seeing you do a podcast, and you can show her the fruits of that labor, and you can show her all the amazing women that you're interviewing and that you're learning from, and those are tools that she's going to be able to learn from as she grows into womanhood. And I think the biggest testimony we can teach our children is to set their wings high and fly. Like, not, oh, once you become a mother, you have to sit back and give up your life for your children. I think it's the opposite. You have to keep showing them how to be strong, you know, soaring women with purpose. And because eventually those children are going to grow up and move on, and they're going to go into the real world. And if you teach them that the world stops for them, that's not what happens when they go out into the world. So it's like, you don't really do your kids any service or justice by doing that. And so I mean, I love that you say that, because it's so true. It's like, you have to just communicate with them and teach them, like, this is why I'm doing that. You know, like, I'm not just leaving you because I'm about to go to the club and have 3 drinks with my friends. Like, that's not that there's even anything wrong with that, because there's plenty of times where mommy's getting dressed up to go have dinner with friends. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying most of the time that I am sacrificing my time with my family, it's for something that's bigger than myself.
Right. I understand. Amen to that. So, who inspires you? Who inspires Kristel?
Oh man, that's such a big question. It's interesting because I have so many mentors. I'm actually like I'm like a self-development junkie. Like I need to go into like rehab because I'm just constantly like following people's content and learning from people and listening to the podcasts and YouTube videos. Right now, I would say the top two people that I've been watching are Brene Brown and Gary Vaynerchuk. So like those are like, they're two very opposite people. Like Brene Brown, she has this presence about her that's just so calm and collected, but she's so like just like straightforward with what she's teaching. And then Gary Vee is just like a train wreck of like, you know, he throws the F-bomb and he's high energy, and I love both of their approaches. But I learned so much from them. And you know, people who inspire me are just people who are living out their talents and their gifts, and they're giving those gifts to the world. I love seeing that in other people. I love being surrounded by women who are just owning their life and doing something with it, and seeking how to be a better person and how to give more to the world. I love people like that.
Yes. And I'll actually follow Gary. Well, I read his books, Gary's books. Have you read Crush It?
No. So my brother sent me a screenshot of it and was like, you need to get this. So it's on my list.
Yes.
That's one thing that's like, oh my gosh, my reading list is so bad because it's like to pick up a book. So I'm working on developing a habit of just reading a chapter a day. Okay. So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm that's on my list though. I've heard so many good things.
You will love it, Kristel. Like, it's to the point you're probably not going to want to put it down because he has so much information, especially when it comes to running a business and marketing. It clicks. At that point, like I read that book in probably 2 days. And after that, and you're able to actually, you know, play stuff with your business while you go along. It's amazing. So yes, definitely get that book.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you know if it's on Audible?
It should be. I got it from Amazon, so it might be on. What's it? The Kindle.
Yeah, I'll see, but I'm gonna definitely check it out. Thank you for the recommendation.
Oh yes, of course. All right. So, flipping the script, enough about kids. I want to know more so about your relationship. So, you say you guys have been married for how long?
So, we've been in February. It'll be 9 years.
9 years. Okay. All right. So, what advice would you give a new wife and mother, even though it's been 9 years, which 9 years is still, well, it's not new. That's almost 10 years. That is a long time. What advice would you give a newlywed couple as far as just keeping the relationship fresh, especially with having kids and with having small kids?
Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness. Well, I can't stress the word communication enough. From your business life to your personal life to your sex life to every part of your life, you have to communicate. So, for example, like with me being such a busy person and always, you know, wanting to go, like this month, for example alone, I have 2 conferences. So they're both 2-day conferences. So that's 2 weekends out of the month that I'm asking to be away from the house as the mom, and I'm asking my husband to step in and take over my roles, right? So communicating to him, like, this is why I'm doing that, and this is what I want, and this is how it makes me happy. And I just feel like he's gonna love me more as a free bird than if I'm feeling trapped and I feel like I can't do what I want to do. So just communicating those things. And then, you know, when football season comes around with his business, he travels like once or twice a month. So it's like, I don't have no shame in my game doing what I do because he does the same thing. So I'm a huge believer of, it's so interesting because women are so quick to be like feminists and be like women's rights and we're equal, but then they set these limits on themselves, like I have to take care of the kids, I have to feed them, I have to clean my house. Like, no, your significant other can do the same exact thing. Like, it took 2 people to create that child. So I look at my husband as an equal party in this agreement. Like, you are not babysitting, you are taking care of your responsibility just like I do every single day. So I don't let guilt cover over me when it comes to doing what I want to do. And I believe, and that's a huge part of my brand DNA, is that women need to stay in tune with their passion, because I was at my worst state of my marriage when I was that girl that was just sitting at home having nothing to do. That's when I was going through his phone, checking his emails, asking him where he was at when he wasn't at the house, because I had no identity. I had nothing else to do but just sit there and be like, well, I'm just here. He's probably out there just doing whatever. And it was not even him. He wasn't giving me a reason to think that. It was just my insecurity of having no purpose. So I just think it's so important as women to not let yourself give up what makes you before you got involved with that person. Don't give those things up. Don't trade those things in. And so then like on that same token, like one of the things that really helped us was, because we are both business builders and, you know, we have our kids and we have all this stuff going on. I wanted to know, like, what is it that you need from me? Like, what's going to be the bottom line, like, non-negotiable? And so for him, it was food, like making sure he's fed and making sure that he just, you know, has respect. So, like, in my head, I was thinking it was like, have the best lingerie on and making sure I'm having sex X amount of times a week. He's like, I don't even care about that if you're not respecting me, and if I'm like, and then like having the house pretty much kind of cleaned up. So like when I know I'm gonna fall short on dinner, or if I know I'm gonna fall short on him coming home and the house isn't picked up, then I know that I have to communicate those things with him. Like, I'm sorry, like this week I'm just not going to have time to cook meals, so we're going to have to figure out, like, you're going to have to go pick something up. So he doesn't get mad at that. Like, he'll be like, okay, I'm going to grab some Chipotle on the way home from work. But if he gets home thinking I'm about to have food there and I don't have food, and then he's just hungry and I'm like, I can't do anything because I'm about to do a call, or I got to finish this email, and I'm not even worried about his food, that's when things get out of whack. So just knowing, you know, I think one of the biggest keys is just that communication of knowing what is it that you need and what is it that they need, so that your expectations are being met. Because I think it's when we stop meeting each other's expectations that we start looking for that in other people. And then the second thing I would just say is never stop doing the things you did to get that person. So that's why a huge part of my brand is like, don't lose yourself physically, because I think it's easy for us to be like, girl, my man better love me with no makeup on and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I wear no makeup plenty of times, and my husband sees me looking crazy at all types of the day. But I make sure that most of the time he's like, wait, where did you go today? Or what are you doing today? Nothing, just being me, like being awesome. Like, you know, because you like, I love the advice I got from a woman once. It was like, I forget the exact words, but it was like, treat your husband, like, love your husband like a husband, but treat him like a mistress would. And so never, like, stop treating your man the way you feel like another woman would, or the way you did when you were trying to get him. Like, calling him all the time, sending cute little pictures, doing little gestures of, like, I see you, like, you see me. Like, don't stop doing those things, because when that stops, it's like, why did it stop? And then you just let yourself get in this comfortable zone, and then it's easy for outside influences to factor in, because you're not doing it anymore, you know. So those would be, I guess, my two biggest things.
Those are the best things ever. They were. I know I'm up here giving hand claps, because I believe the same exact thing when it comes to the whole parenting situation. Communication is a big thing for us. And like you said, just how, you know, I'm their mama, you their daddy. So if I got something to do, they can be with you. If you have something to do, you know, they can, of course, come with me. But a lot of people a lot of mothers feel like if they're not there 24/7 with the kids, then they're not being great mothers. And I'm like, no, it's their dad. Like, they should be just as comfortable being with him and knowing they're going to be well taken care of versus being with us. So I believe that 120%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so flipping the script again, what are some of your favorite beauty products that you're using right now?
Let's see. So lashes are my thing right now. I usually get them done when I'm going to go on like a vacation, or if I have like a conference where I know it'll be like 3 days of like getting up early and needing to just be ready to go. So I love getting my lashes done, and I'm getting ready to have a baby, so I always get them done close to delivery, just so that I can feel still somewhat cute when I wake up. So I'm a huge believer of that. I stay with my eyebrows done because I feel like if you can just have like something groomed on your face, you can
pull anything off.
Stuff together, yeah.
Right.
And then aside from, I wear makeup like when I do photo shoots, when I go places, but I don't wear makeup on a daily basis. So I'm not like a makeup connoisseur where I could give you a lot of recommendations there, but I'm more of like the tips and tricks. Like, like I'm always just throwing on a lip gloss and filling in my brows, just at least that. And it's so interesting because it'll be like, uh-oh. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
It was like my computer, sorry, it like froze up, so I thought to stop. But, I'm big on, just my husband, the other day, or often, he'll be like, oh, dang, you got your brows, like, just by having my brows filled in a little bit, it, like, changes my face and makes him feel like I did something for the day. So I'm big on, like, the little things that go a long way. And I'm all about, I've been washing my face daily, morning and night. So that's been like my beauty routine. And I've been just using like an organic line, that's very natural and good for your skin. So, that's just been my regimen really lately.
Nice. And as far as social media, what are some shows that you guys love watching? Either it could be as a family, it could just be you yourself. Like, what are some TV shows that's on right now?
I honestly can't answer that because I don't. TV is one of the things that I've given up.
Okay.
I have addictive behavior, so when I do watch Netflix or those, I binge. Like I don't want to do anything else. Like I'm on the toilet watching it. I'm in the bed watching it. I'm in the shower watching it. So it was just something that I had to just remove from my life because when I noticed when I was on a show, literally there was nothing else that was going to happen. Like I remember the last show I watched was called The Bloodline, and I don't even know how I got stuck on it, but it was Bloodline. And literally, like my kids were like, "Mom, are we going to eat today?" And I'm like, "Oh, when this is over." And I didn't mean when this episode. I meant like when this series is over.
After the 10th episode, so like, Mom, that's 5 hours from now.
Exactly. So you don't know how to make toast? Like, go fix your sister. That was me. So I'm like, okay, no. So we don't really watch TV now. That's me and my husband. Now my kids, my daughter, my 2-year-old watches Coco once a day. So we know Coco like it's the back of our hand. And so, they'll watch TV because I do, and I know there's all kinds of opinions around TV, but my TV does babysit my kids for sure. So I definitely have an hour at least a day that I put them in front of a movie and then I get work done. So I'm not ashamed of that or anything. So we just set up their Netflix with their names and they get to take turns, who gets to choose what they want to watch, and they're watching whatever they want on there, as long as it's like, like I try with the baby to get her with the ABCs and all that stuff, but the other girls, they go to school. I don't make them do academic stuff. I just let them watch, whatever is appropriate, but whatever they want to choose on there. So yeah.
I love it. I can't even blame you for that, because like, for instance, I posted a question on my podcast page that how it was pretty much asking, do you believe children should be doing educational things throughout the summer? And a lot of people say yes, get them into camps, do all this, educational stuff, yeah. And honestly, since my daughter gets straight A's during the rest of the, the school year, I let her do whatever the hell she wants in the summer. It's like, look, you can stay up, you can watch TV, and I guess since she is so studious, she chooses to read books. But if she didn't choose to read a book, I've been okay. It's just like, you did what you're supposed to do during the year. So as long as you can, keep your studies up, we don't have to do all the camp stuff. Like, I don't want to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning having to take you here and there. Like, I feel like I'm in school when they're in school.
No, I'm with you on that. I agree. I read this book. I didn't finish it, but I started it, and it was called, I think, Why the Danish Are the Happiest People on Earth. But they were saying how they don't even start learning how to read until they're like 7 or something, first grade or something. Yeah, and they were saying it's because we put so much academic pressure on our kids that there's no, like, I guess there was actually a study that was done that, yes, those kids may learn how to read earlier, but they're more likely to suffer from depression and anxiety later in life.
Right.
Then I guess it creates this like complex of like this pressure that they have to live up to. I don't know. It was interesting, but the education system is a whole nother thing that we like, a whole nother podcast. We're actually in school right now. So honestly, it's like, I'm not about to stress about you learning about Columbus Day or any of that. Like, they can miss it. It's just the school is like a whole nother thing, because especially as an entrepreneur, like for me, I was like, so your math is, you need a calculator to do your math, but you don't know how to break a $20 bill when you go and shop for something.
Ooh, child.
Those are the problems I have with school anyway. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm like you, like, you guys can chill during the summer. That's what summer is for. Let's let the kids, and you know, it is what it is. So.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to come back on the podcast, and we're gonna talk about that, because I have some things I need to say about that as well. So I would definitely have you back.
Yeah, that's for real, like a whole nother topic.
Gosh, yeah. All right. So before we wrap it up, we actually play a game called the Hot Seat Round, which is 5 random questions that are about you. Either you can play or you can punk out and be like, "Nah, Britt, I ain't playing." So, do you want to play or no?
Yeah, I have to play, of course.
Thank you. All right. So, question number 1: name 3 things that you love about yourself.
Oh, okay. I love my pregnant body. Like, I get a nice juicy booty. My boobs are bigger, so I love that. I love my personality, and I love my drive, just my eagerness to just be great at life.
Nice. All right, question number 2: what is your favorite movie of all times?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, I don't even know if I have an answer to that. I can't even remember movies I watched yesterday. I will say, oh my gosh, when I was like growing up, when people would ask that question, I used to say, I think it's Men of Honor. I can't remember, but it was with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, yeah. That was an Army movie, right? I think.
Yeah. But like, see, I don't even remember it now, but I remember that was like my go-to favorite movie. But honestly, I'm so bad at stuff like that because I can't even remember movies after I watch them.
Right. All right. What is your favorite smoothie?
Ooh, I like anything. Does it have to be a healthy one?
It doesn't have to be healthy.
Because I like any like pina colada type of like tropical mix-up situation.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. All right, do you have any special talents?
I believe we all have special talents, yes. And I actually just posted about this in my Instagram that I used to think I was the least talented / creative person because I didn't have a talent like I can play the piano or I can do makeup or I can draw or I can sing. But I think my talent is just being able to see the good in people and to be like a good motivator and an encourager and an inspirer. So I think that's like a talent of mine that I realize that not everybody has the desire to be that, or are they like that? So I guess that's one of my talents.
Yes, all right. And the last question, do you have a girl crush? And if so, who is it?
Yes, my husband jokes, and I do not want this to be offensive to people, but people are offended all the time. So
right. It doesn't matter.
He says I'm gay all the time, like that I love women, and it is because I do. I love women. Like I'm quick to be like, oh my god, her booty is so bomb. Like I can't. Like we went to we went to Coachella, and there was women everywhere half naked, but this one girl, her booty was out. She was wearing like just a thong bathing suit, and I have to go up to her and just tell her how good her butt looks like. I can't stop looking at it. So I went up to her and I'm like, do people just want to ask you to touch your butt? Because I literally want to like smack your butt. He was like, you are so gay. Like, I don't understand that. And so, like, I know that's not the right term. You're not supposed to say gay, whatever. I know, but like this is me and my husband. So we say. So like, I love women. So all women are my crushes. I love Tracy Ellis Ross if we're going to go down the celebrity route. Yes. And then my favorite like Insta crush is the Sheila Marie on Instagram. She's like, I love her to death. Like, she's funny. And Cardi B, like, she's my new crush. Like, and like, just because I like watching people who are completely raw and unfiltered, that I live for people like that. So those would be my top 3.
And the Sheila Marie, isn't that Ace Hood's girlfriend?
Yes.
Yes, her body is banging. You hear me?
Yeah, I told her when I first seen her, I was like, "Girl, like I love her. Like I love her body. I love her face. I love her personality. Yes. I love her mind. I love her drive. I mean, just she's everything. I love her."
Yes. Well, thank you, Kristel, so much for being on the show. And if people want to follow you and the Wife Complex, how can you be reached?
Yes, so I just separated my Instagrams, and so my personal page is Kristel C. David, so Kristel, C as in cat, and then David, and then my business, or my community Wife Complex Instagram is Wife Complex. So follow both. It's basically like you're gonna get all of me and my life on my page, and then like more of my tools, tips, tricks, and advice on the Wife Complex page.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me. I love what you're doing. I'm so excited to tune in more and see who else you guys have on the show. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bad and Bougie Moms podcast show. However you listen to our show for today, please make sure that you like, you comment, and you also subscribe so we can get some kudos points, you know? Also, if you'd like to follow us on social media, on Instagram, we are at BADANDBOUGIE Moms. On Twitter, I want to say we are at BBM Podcast, and on Facebook, we are at Bad and Bougie Moms as well. Also, if you would like to purchase a Bad and Bougie Moms t-shirt, you can always go to BritMarsh.com. That's BritMarsh.com. Again, thank you guys.